It's a beautiful day for remote learning, a beautiful day for a lesson. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a studently day in this beauty wood, a studently day for a lesson. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a student just like you. I've always wanted to teach in a classroom with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my student?
Hi everyone, welcome back to Miss Nichols' Neighborhood. It's me, your teacher, Miss Nickel, and I'm here with my best remote teacher helper, my sister Kaylee Nickel. Hi. Hi. Today we are continuing to learn about position, or the way in which someone or something is placed, arranged, or located. Basically talking about the location or position of something. But today we are going to talk about position using words that are different than the last words we learned. In the last lesson video, we talked about above and below. This lesson video, we are going to be talking and using some different words. The first word we need to know is the phrase or words in front of. In front of. Okay? Let's get used to saying and hearing that. I'm going to say in front of, and I'm going to point to you, and hopefully you at home will say in front of. Ready? In front of. In front of. Good. One more time. In front of. In front of. Meaning something is placed, arranged, or located ahead or before something else. So if you're like looking at a picture, what comes first is in front of something else. Okay? Might be a little tricky. Hopefully after some examples we'll get it. Okay? But talking about position using words like in front of. What comes before something else. Another word we're going to use today is the word behind. Okay? Behind. Let's get comfortable saying and hearing ourselves say that. I'm going to say behind. Then I'm going to ask that you say behind. Ready? Behind. Behind. Very good. One more time. Behind. 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 Nice job, Kaylee. Hopefully you at home are saying that. Behind is something that's placed, arranged, or located towards the back of something. Okay, so you have an object in front of it or behind, towards the back of it. Okay, it's like if you're looking at a picture, you see the first thing you see is in front of it, you see something else, then if there's something towards the back of that, that's behind of it, behind it. Okay, little hard to explain, but hopefully with some examples, we'll feel more and more comfortable describing position using words like in front of and behind. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our first problem. Our first problem right here, number 1. They want us to circle the animal that is in front of the school. Oh, yes, we like to talk about school. But look at the picture carefully. You see the school. What is in front of it? What animal? What is in front of it? Can you point to it, Kaylee? Yes, the sheep is in front of it. If you're walking straight towards the school, you would actually run into the sheep first, because the sheep is in front of the school. Nice job. Since it's in front of the school, we're going to put a box around the sheep to help us see it. In front of the school. Okay, so that's kind of an example of in front of. You walk towards it, what's the first thing you'd run into if you're physically walking there? The sheep, because it's in front of the school. Yeah. Nice job. Let's look at problem number 2. Okay? Problem 2, they want us to find the cube that is behind the plastic tube. Again, it's one of those lessons you got to listen very carefully to instructions and directions. Which cube is behind the plastic tube? Here's the plastic tube. What's towards the back? What's towards the back of the picture? Which cube is behind it?
Yeah.
Can you point to which one? Yes, Kaylee, that blocker cube is behind the tube. You got to look at these pictures as if you were like actually there. You would see the mouse, the cubes, the tube. Then behind that tube is that last missing cube. Okay? Since it's behind the tube, we're going to put an X on that cube to help us see it behind the tube. For this lesson, we're going to continue with lots of practice problems of identifying or finding position of things in front of something else and things behind other things. Okay? I understand it can be tricky, but you got to do your best to look at the pictures they give you carefully. Pretend you're actually there. Think of what's in front of it. What would you run into first? And if you kept walking through the picture, what's at the back? What's behind everything else? Okay? Keep that in mind as we continue with a few more practice problems. Here are our next 2 problems. Again, with position problems, position learning packets you have, you're going to need some help from an adult to really listen to and hear those instructions or directions, okay? Be very careful when you're listening. That way you fully understand what you're supposed to find. Let's look up here at problem 3, this school bus picture right here. We're being asked to put an X on each student in front of the school bus. Okay? So we have to look at the picture. We see the bus. We're not looking for the students or kids that are inside the bus. We're looking for the students that are in front of the bus. So you're looking at the picture, okay? Which students, if you're walking in that picture, would you run into first because they're in front of the bus? Can you show me which ones, Kaylee? And I bet you at home are going to be checking your answer, what you think. Which students are in front of the bus? This girl? Yeah, she's in front of the bus. We put an X on her. Good. Any other students in front of the bus?
Yeah.
Which one? Yes, those 2. They are both in front of the bus. That's why we're putting an X on them, like our instructions said. Good job. It's, position is one of those things you just got to get used to saying and recognizing. If you need help, I like to envision it as if you were to start walking through this picture, what would you run into first because it's in front? Well, you'd run into these 3 students first because they are in front of the bus.
Ooh.
Okay? Maybe it might help you think of it. Okay? Great job finding the students in front of the bus. Okay, our next problem, number 4. It says, draw a box around the raccoon that is in front of the slide. Ooh, this could be a tricky one. I see the slide, and I see 1, 2 raccoons. At first I was like, what animal is that? But it's also a raccoon. Hard to tell from the back how they drew it, but yes. 1, 2 raccoons here. Which of these raccoons is in front of the slide? I don't want the raccoon that's next to the slide just hanging out with it. I want the raccoon that's in front of the slide. Like it just slid down the slide, okay? What's in front of the slide? Make sure you're thinking at home. Kaylee, can you help us out?
Sure.
Which raccoon is in front of the slide? Yes, if that's what you're saying at home, great job. That raccoon is in front of the slide. If you were walking through the picture, you'd run into that raccoon first, then the slide. Because the order of objects is raccoon, then the slide. That raccoon is in front of the slide, so we're going to put a box around it because we listen very carefully to our instructions. Nice job, Kaylee. If that's what you got at home, great work. So in these two problems, we just had a lot of practice finding people or animals or objects in front of something else, being arranged or located ahead or before something. Let's continue and see what our next few practice problems bring. Here's our next two practice problems. Let's look at here at problem number 5. We finally have a behind problem, okay? Listening very carefully to the instructions, they want us to put a box around the animal that is behind the alligator. Oh, okay, we got to switch from in front to which animal is behind the alligator. If you were to walk through this picture, you walk through or past the alligator, what animal is towards the back of or behind the alligator? Make sure you're thinking at home. Kaylee, can you help us double check our answer?
Yeah.
Okay, which animal is behind the alligator? Yes, the turtle is behind the alligator. If that's what you were saying at home, amazing work, okay? If you're not quite sure yet, that's okay. Look very carefully at the picture. Down here, this is the front. You work your way back. That turtle's towards the back, behind the alligator. That means we put a box around that turtle. It's the animal behind the alligator. Yeah. Nice job. I'm so glad we finally got to practice finding something behind something else. Okay, let's look at our next problem. Problem number 6. This problem, again, listen very carefully to the instructions. They want us to put an X on the animal that's in front of the cat. Put an X on the animal in front of the cat. Okay, get those brain wheels turning, okay? Let's see. We see the cat. Which animal is in front of the cat? Think very carefully. If you were to start here and walk through the picture, which animal would you run into first because it's in front of the cat? Can you help us out, Kaylee?
Yeah.
Okay, which animal is in front of the cat? Yes, the bird is in front of the cat. Because you start here, you walk through the picture, the bird is first. It's in front of the cat. Nice job. Since the bird is in front of the cat, we put an X on the bird, just like our instructions said. Nice job. Keep up the good work, following along, trying to think of how you would answer these questions and double checking it with Kaylee and I. We're going to come back with our last two problems for this lesson. Here's our last two problems. Going to give you more and more think time on these problems, okay? Up here, problem number 7, again listening very carefully to the instructions, it says, draw a box around the animal that is behind the hippo. Again, draw a box around the animal that is behind, towards the back of the hippo. Okay, so look up here in our picture. I see some fish, I see a hippo, I see a kangaroo. I'm going to give you guys some think time. Wow, you think about which animal is behind the hippo. We'll be quiet. Okay, hopefully that was enough think time for you. If not, make sure to pause us. Let's double check your answer, okay? Which animal is behind the hippo? If I was to walk through this picture, I start here, walk through, I see the fish, I see the hippo. I keep going towards the back. What animal is that there? It's the kangaroo. That kangaroo is behind towards the back of the hippo. That means we put a box around that animal, the kangaroo. If that's what you said, congrats, good job. We just had even more practice finding objects behind or animals or people behind something or someone else. Now, it's time for our last problem. Listen very carefully to these instructions because you might just be like, this just looks like a blank canvas. I know. Let's find out what we're going to do. It says, draw an object. Draw another object behind your object. Oh, so we have some creativity here. Let's listen to the instructions again. Draw an object. Draw another object behind your object. Ooh, this is exciting. I'm going to start with the first part of the instructions. Draw an object. What should we draw, Kaylee?
Okay.
You want me to think of it?
Yeah.
Draw an object. I think I'm going to draw a heart. Something kind of easy for me to draw. You could draw whatever object you'd like to. So I draw my heart right here best I can. That turned out funky. That's okay. It's supposed to be a heart. Now I have to draw. I did the first part, draw an object. And then it says draw another object behind your object. So I'm going to draw a different object. Maybe this time I'll just try to make like a square, like a Rubik's Cube or something. Okay?
Yeah.
I see where I have my heart, my object. I'm going to go behind it, towards the back of it. I'm going to draw a square behind it. Now I know my artist work isn't great here, but hopefully you kind of get the idea. Really pay attention to the instructions. Draw an object, then draw something behind it. Meaning you would draw your second object towards the back of the first object. And you can double check your work by pretending you walk through the picture. Good. I run into my heart that I drew first. Then behind it, the next thing I'd run into would be my square. Nice job. It might be fun if you have some problems like this. Get to see your creativity come through on that. Okay, everyone. We've had lots of practice identifying and describing position. Specifically using words in front of when something is located ahead or before something, and using words like behind, being arranged or located towards the back of something. Okay? Keep those words fresh in your head. Just keep doing your best on your remote learning and have a great rest of your remote learning day. Bye, everyone.
Okay.